Hello everybody and welcome back to our Planet Coaster series. After a long hiatus, we're finally back in the park, and all that time ago in our last episode, we finished up our Scuttler's Cove subsection of the pirate-themed area. So if you missed that episode, I definitely recommend you check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, and just look at this final product. I think it looks fantastic, especially at night with all our lights turned on. But we're not doing anything piratey in today's episode, I'm afraid. Instead, we're going to be focusing on this. I'm going to make good on a promise I made a long time ago, where I said soon at the time we'd be working on Bradburton Castle, our haunted house, and the crown jewel of our Haunted Hollow spooky-themed section of the park. So the goal for today's episode will be to finish up the interior, and then next episode we will find a permanent home for it and fill out the exterior. But key things on the docket: the entire lower level is unfinished. We're going to put a crypt down here, maybe a wine cellar, but all I've put down here thus far is some walls, just getting a rough idea of where we want everything to go. And other than that, we're going to waste no time today. Let's hop straight into a time lapse where we get that done, and I will see you on the other side. Alright, here we are after the time lapse. Have an interesting change of scenery here, and that is because I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about my upload and streaming schedule. So, a lot has changed in the park since we started the time lapse, and that is because we had our first weekend of Planet Coaster streams. So every weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we will be streaming Planet Coaster and all manner of other things. And this sort of tip of our Adventure Island section, the first ride, which we called Flightless Birds, we built this whole area in our first stream. And if this interests you and you would like to be part of our next stream, then tune in twitch.tv/doughboyjp at 2 p.m. Eastern on weekends. And anyway, let's get back to our haunted house. So, a lot has changed here as well. From the outside, you can see I patched up that incision we made at the beginning of the time lapse, and in its place there is a nice window here into the dining room of the haunted house. I like having these windows to the interior because it's sort of a callback for me. I don't know if I'm sure many of you have played Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, and it was very influential on my childhood in that game. The haunted house, the carts would sort of pop out the front and you could see the people on the ride, and I've always loved that about that game. So it's sort of a callback, just being able to look into the haunted house and see the carts going through it. It's just a really cool concept, and I wanted to have it, so here we are. But besides that, let me pause the game so we don't get our piano record interrupting our music. So here we are in the crypt that we just completed, and man, I am happy with it. So over here we have some sort of collapsed walls behind which there were some coffins, and we have some skeletons buried in the rubble. And behind another wall here we have our wine cellar with some rats and some more targets to shoot at. And as far as what the targets do, I still have to program them all, but in the next video, when we finish up the castle, we will be doing a ride through, so you'll be able to see all of that. So stay tuned if you want to see. And up against the wall here, we have some coffins of maybe some prominent members of the Brad Burton family. And yeah, so I had to use the mummies just because the zombie animatronics aren't really that great, and honestly I think mummies are cooler anyway. So we got some mummies in these coffins, and obviously some more targets. And then as we round the bend here, we come into another chamber with some coffin sort of crypts up against the wall, with some more mummies coming in and out of them. And what these are inspired by is, if you've played The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, in I think it's the Earth Temple, the re-deads come out of these sort of wall coffins, and it's super creepy, and I've always liked that design, so I brought it into the haunted house. And we also just have some more skeletons and rubble from collapsed walls and ceilings and coffins all over the place. So we come diagonally across this room, and then we circle around this coffin, which is supposed Lord Brad Burton himself, with a target and a little encounter there. So we loop around him, got some last minute targets and some wandering mummies just before the exit, and then we round the bend, and through this door brings us right back to the ride station, which isn't complete yet, but we're gonna wait and do that when we work on the exterior. These aren't the only things that have changed. I went through and I did some sort of tidying up stuff that wouldn't be interesting to watch on camera, like just adding some plants and paintings in this room. I don't know if you saw it before, but the walls and the in general the room was pretty barren, so I added some plants and paintings there. I need to do the same in here, but I'm not sure how I want to go about that yet, so I didn't do it. And then up here I actually finished off the library for the most part. Again, might add some more paintings on the walls, but that's a very quick and easy fix I can do after the video. So yeah, we got our target set up here, got some nice lighting where there wasn't any before that really brightens up these books. The only other thing I might do is paint the books so that the colors aren't so copied and pasted throughout the whole thing. Not that it's super noticeable, but I also think they could do with being a little brighter. But other than that, that is done, and you will be able to see what happens when you shoot these in the ride through in our next video. Sorry to keep you in suspense, but you know, I gotta. Come through our conservatory here, and this room will be our next target in this video. Ugh, my camera's going crazy. So this room, my plans for it are to turn it into a sort of attic storeroom, maybe with spiders and creepy crawlies infesting it. Not a lot of room to work with. It's very, very tight, but yeah, we'll see what we can make of it. At the very least, we can have some sort of weird old artifacts and stuff in here, but I'm just gonna sort of make it up as we go, so let's get started. So as you can see when we look at the ride track, there really is not very much room to work with in here. So I think we're going to rely on spiders because we can put them on walls and not have to worry about them taking up space on the floor. So first thing I think we're going to do is just put some detail on the walls and make it look less barren in here. So we're just going to take these wooden frame pieces and just use them to, I think we can make do with 3. We're just going to use them to create sort of a baseboard first. I don't know if that's the right term, but once I do it, you'll see what I mean. Alright, so that's done. I also brought in the walls a little bit tighter. It's really claustrophobic in here, but I think that's a good thing. It's going to help sort of play up the fear factor of the spiders, having them super close to the carts. We're going to let this cart continue through here. It's on a stop track right now, and the rotation's all messed up, but I'll fix that behind the scenes. Nobody needs to see that. So, next on the docket is we're going to start putting some crates in here, because like I said, I want this to be a sort of attic storeroom. So we're going to fill it up with all sorts of crams and crates and other nonsense. So let's get to it. Let's see, I'll start with these ones. Maybe a little bit bigger, start with these. Put the big ones in the core of the pile. And I'll check and make sure the cart doesn't clip through these afterwards. But for now, let's just get a base layer down. There we go. And let's see. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room. Gonna eat those words, but for now we're okay at least. And maybe we'll get some support pillars, but I'm not sure. I think we'll just stack up the crates as high as we can, and then get some spiders in here, and we'll have plenty to look at in this room. Can have some big ones over in this corner because this corner isn't really gonna get much attention from the ride vehicle. And then once all the crates are down, we will supplement them with sort of you know, furniture and pictures and other knickknacks, and then on top of that we'll put cobwebs and spiders and stuff to shoot at. Maybe a couple ghosts too. Alright, so we got our initial layer of junk down. Got some crates, a suit of armor, a skeleton, some furniture, and then on this wall we have a bunch of extra picture frames. Next thing, I think we're going to update the structure of the room a little bit. We're going to add some support pillars and maybe a window or two. So to do that, oh man, I just realized none of the scenery is connected. Gonna have to do that painstakingly later, but gonna take this beam and just use it to add some corner beams, as well as some in the middle here. Get just a couple more. That's not symmetrical. That's better. Alright. And I think we'll hold off on the windows. Now we can start thinking about putting in our spiders. So we'll actually start with these. It's gonna be loud for a moment, but gonna have these, and what this is it's a special effect bar that will make it look like spiders are crawling up the wall. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a really good effect. We'll put that all around the room. Oh yeah, look at them. They're all over the wall now. Let me turn the lights on so you can really see it. Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of them. That's good, that's what we want. Jeez, when you get back in range of those ambient speakers, the music comes back so loud. So yeah, we're just gonna copy and paste those all around the room. Alright, and now we can start getting some of our actual big spiders in here. So we're really just gonna put them on any flat surface we can find. And then we'll put targets in around them later. I'll come in with the display sequencer later and make sure these are all unsynced so they're not all turning at the same time. So don't worry about that. Just putting them everywhere. I'll put some on these picture frames too, because those will make good targets. So there's our spiders. Let me put the game on pause again because that music is loud. And next thing, get some cobwebs. Put those in as well. These are a bit finicky. They sometimes they show up really well and sometimes they really don't. I haven't really figured out how to strike a balance with them yet. But they have problems at night. Like they sort of glow. It's really weird. So I usually tone that down by making them like a gray color. But we'll also be getting some lights in here, so that won't really be a problem. Right, so we got our cobwebs in there. The lighting is really weird. I'm hoping we can sort of even it out once I get some lights in here. Ooh, that's a nice ambient look. That yellow's really nice. It'll look good when all the spiders are sort of scurrying up the wall. Maybe we'll just use these all over the room and have it still be very dark in here. I like that idea. Alright everyone, so I went through and I placed all of our lights, and just while I did so, I did one final pass, and as I'm sure you can notice, I added some final little details, and it was a lot of trial and error, me just placing and replacing things because I thought I didn't like them and stuff like that, so I decided to cut it out of the video, but here you can see our finished product. So we got some red ambient lights, and the reason I did that is just to sort of amplify the effect of the giant spider's glowing eyes. And I also think it is a nice combination with the dusty yellow. And also added a few more picture frames on the wall, fixed up some of the cobwebs, made them a little more three-dimensional, and of course added our giant spider, who I was really worried we weren't going to have room for, but I thought this corner would do very nicely. So all that remains to be done is to have our targets put in and those programmed up, but with that said, I'm going to do one final pass of the whole castle, just sprucing up things and programming all the targets and getting the ride vehicle rotations right. But I'm going to do that all in between episodes, so I will update you on anything I change in our next episode, which will be dedicated to finding a permanent home for this place in the park and sprucing up the exterior, building the queue, and what have you. So with that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and we'll be back here next time, so I'll see you then.